record to the cloud. Okay, so I think we're recording. Welcome to the team call tonight. We have an amazing guest speaker, one of my mastermind friends, and I call it like growing up in the business with friend Marissa Myers. She is, if you didn't see the event, she is a, I'm going to mute you, Ellen. She is a 2-time elite coach, a 6-star diamond coach in her first business center, and 1-star diamond in her second business center. She's a Success Club 10 All-Star legend, organizational leader, and just a stellar person. She's worked full-time as a nurse anesthetist. How do you say that? Nurse anesthetist? Say it for me.
Anesthetist, yeah.
Anesthetist. Okay. That one always ties me up on my tongue. Full-time. And you've recently like cut back. You haven't quit yet, have you? Or have you quit? Or it's kind of like up to you when you want to work.
Yeah, I work once a week.
Yeah, once a week. How crazy is that? That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so she is going to talk to us tonight about mindset. And obviously you heard her. She's going to be pulling it from a couple of personal development events and seminars that she's been to. But, you know, I think you weren't elite last year. You missed elite last year?
Yeah, I didn't go for it last year.
Didn't plan for it? Yeah. So this last year was a really tough year in the business all over. And I think, you know, she'll give some good insight on how to push through struggles, but then also how to, you know, keep your mind right when you have those successes in your business too. So I'll let her, I'm excited to hear from you too. So, I'll let you talk and do the talking and share your secrets and mindset belief with
Okay. Well, I did do a little, I should have pulled that up while we were talking. I did create a little presentation, just like some slides.
Yay. We're visual. That's great.
Let me grab it real quick. And probably some of my team has heard some of this before, because I used to put some of this into our actual webinar for people to join the team, but let me share my screen really quick. Okay, so you present. Hopefully I will talk slow because I tend to talk a little bit fast. So a little bit about me, you got most of my story. I became a coach in July 2012, and the name of my team is called Team Aloha. And the reason we are named Team Aloha is because our mission was to breathe life into people on the planet. Since then, we've kind of changed our name and we've collectively called ourselves Limitless Unity, because we are limitless in our abilities when we're united together. And that's kind of like our collective, like larger team. And then Team Aloha is my personal team. So I'm a 2-time elite, like you said, all that stuff. I did replace my 6-figure income from being a nurse anesthetist with my Beachbody income, and I was able to resign. And kind of how that happened was a little bit about my story, just to roll back, is a friend of mine invited me over to her house to try insanity with her. And I've always been into sports. I was an athlete. I was a swimmer and a runner. And swimming was like my passion in high school. And I thought it was amazing, super hard, but I was actually studying for my master's degree when she invited me over to do it. So I did the one workout with her. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy hard. I love the challenge. I'm buying it. I actually bought my first program, not from her, even though she was a coach, but she wasn't really forthcoming about being a coach and this is an income opportunity. She was kind of like shy about it. So that's kind of a way to attest to being more proactive with people. That's a good testimonial to that. And I ended up buying it on Amazon because it was cheaper, and this was before challenge groups. So I started doing the workouts. I was posting on Facebook, like, I'm doing my insanity workout tonight. You know, I was really excited about it. I got some great results. Actually, I didn't do the program for the 6 months. I bought it and it sat there collecting dust for 6 months. And then when I graduated from my master's program and became a nurse anesthetist, I had gained about 20 pounds from that 28-month program. And I wanted to get back into something challenging and get back into sports and health and fitness and all this stuff, which was always a passion of mine. And so I took the program on and I got great results. People at work started noticing and asking me what I was doing. So I started referring them to Beachbody because I still didn't understand coaching. And that I could refer them to my coach. And people started buying the programs, and I was like, she kept bugging me for 8 months. She asked me to become a coach. And I was like, no, I just graduated. I just became a nurse anesthetist. Like, I don't want to, why would I be a Beachbody coach? Why am I going to go try to sell these products? And I didn't really understand the opportunity. So she bugged me. She finally got me to attend a live event with Shaun T in Fort Lauderdale. He was leading a workout. And that's when they have people come up and share their success stories and talk about their physical transformations and their financial transformations. And when I heard these, I realized it wasn't just selling products. It was people actually getting results. It was a movement. And I wanted to be a part of that. And once I heard the financial transformations, this was like 6 months into, being a nurse anesthetist after I had just graduated, and I realized that I didn't want to do this for the rest of my life because it was long hours. It was very stressful. The money was amazing. I mean, I made a really good living, but I wasn't enjoying what I was doing, and I wasn't passionate about it. So I decided to become a coach. I think I kind of talk about this in my slides. I had every excuse to fail, every reason not to be successful. She ended up, my upline shortly after decided that she wasn't going to build a business. So I had no training, no upline support, no coaches being placed under me. I had no leadership skills. I actually was not a good leader at all. No business, being a business owner at all. I worked full time and I took call. I was in a relationship at the time. He had a daughter that lived with us part-time. So I had very limited time and lots of responsibilities. So I could have found every reason to fail or quit. But I just kept looking at my life and realizing that I wasn't passionate about what I was doing. I wasn't feeling fulfilled in my life. I was exhausted. I was taking naps every day. I would literally live for my weekends because I would be doing my full-time nurse anesthetist away from home, working, and then the weekend would roll around and I would want to go do things with friends and my partner at the time and his daughter, and they'd be like going and riding bikes, and I'm just like, I'm too tired. And I would just like lay in bed and sleep to try to recover from my week so that I could get back to the Monday, doing anesthesia again all week. Now, nothing against being a CRNA. For me, it just literally drained the life out of me, just being in the operating room all day, putting people to sleep for a living. So, and I was 20, like I said, I was 20 pounds overweight, all that stuff. So I lost the weight with Insanity. I got amazing results. I actually was on the Insanity infomercial for my results. And like I said, I started cheering, people started buying it, all that stuff. And finally at that event was where I was convinced, like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I signed up to be a coach shortly after that event, but I didn't really start building a business until about a year in. And a lot of people will tell you this. They sign up, but they don't actually have that date being their start date. And it's just because I didn't really see, like I saw the potential for other people, but I didn't really see it for myself. Even though I signed up to be a coach and I wanted to make it work, I wasn't putting in the time because I didn't really have the belief. And then it took me going to Summit, actually it wasn't Summit, it was an event in Tampa. It was a Super Saturday where Carl was speaking, and Lindsay Matway at the time was like, I think number 2 or something, and she put on this event, and I got to hear from the CEO of the company and hear our mission. And that's when I finally kind of made a decision that I was going to commit more. And I went to Summit that year, and that's really what helped me to see that the potential for this business was available to me too, not just other people. So my why back then was, leaving my nurse anesthetist job. And now my why has become helping other people find the freedom and flexibility that I was able to find through this opportunity. Now I live my life by design. I work from home full time. I work once a week as a nurse anesthetist, and I don't really want to give that up. I actually, the one day a week to me is kind of nice to have a little breakup of the monotony of being a Beachbody coach and just go to work and not think about Beachbody and just be present with my patients and, socialize a little bit. And I enjoy the one day a week. It's just the full time was what was killing me. And my passion for helping people live a life that's free from these, I keep saying like free from these chains is like my passion, because that's what I felt like I was like a chained animal in this, working full time as a CRNA. So anyway, that's pretty much my story. And so a little bit about the things that I learned at GoPro Mastery, which GoPro event with Eric Worre. First of all, this event was a game changer for me. I thought it was so much belief building. Like, they had so many talks about belief building things, and all this, pretty much this entire presentation is from there. And in the beginning, he shares a lot about the fact that the performance, like the economy, is changing. Just the other day, someone sent me something that BV is closing down their stores. They're going online. So people are starting to go towards online everything. And that, to me, makes me feel like job security for us, because people like to be at home. And, you know, a lot of times in the beginning when we started as coaches, people say like, oh, I don't want to work out at home. But we're going more and more towards like people not wanting to leave their homes. So this is an amazing opportunity to not only work out at home, but be able to work from home. And people love just being in the comfort of their homes. So things are changing, salaries are going away, you know, part-time employees are coming, technology is replacing jobs, and all of this is making our job become more, what do you call it? Like, people want to do it. So it's new opportunities are being created. For example, you can now turn your car into a business and become an Uber. You can turn your home into a business by renting out a room. You can sell stuff on eBay and Amazon. And all of these new business ventures are very similar as far as the entrepreneurship to Beachbody, but they don't have the team factor. So they don't have that duplication factor where you help people and they help you back. You become a team and it builds you a residual income. And traditional business owners, they talk a lot about this. As many of you probably know, it takes a large, huge investment to get started, and you have to commit full time. You can't just do this part-time on the side. And that's why Eric Worre is a huge, huge network marketing professional and just committed to teaching people how to be professionals in this business, because he calls it a profession, not an opportunity. And if you treat it like a profession, you can build an income that is equivalent to a profession. Just FYI, 95% of small businesses fail. 73% of Americans want to start their own business, but they hesitate to take the plunge because they're scared, and no wonder why. 95% of businesses close their doors within the first 5 years. Now, this is traditional businesses. Just look at that statistic, that 73% of Americans want to start their own business. That means that there's 73% of people out there that would love to take part in what we do. So there's no scarcity, there's abundance. There's so many people to talk to that would be interested in the ability to have this type of business. So don't be scared to give people the opportunity to say yes. And my hope for you in my presentation, I wanted to say this at the beginning, is that when you hear me speak, you feel that you could relate to me and you could say like, I can do what she's doing, no problem. Because I think everybody's hope when they come on a call and they talk to somebody else's team, or when they share on their team call, is to be relatable to the point where people say like, yes, I can do what she does, because we are all the same. And everybody has the ability to succeed at this business. If they'll just continue to do it long enough, consistently enough, you will be successful. And that's what I knew. And that's why I kept going. And that's the mindset that I approach my business with. So now imagine that you've just opened up your own franchise. If you compare it to a traditional franchise, usually for a 7-Eleven, they have to invest 30 grand into their franchise. And then they still don't even break even until 3 to 5 years in. And a lot of them, they literally, for the rest of their lives, they have to pay those franchise fees to be able to own that business. They have to pay a part of their income to somebody else for allowing them to open their business. And with Beachbody, we have the ability to create an unlimited earning, like there's unlimited earning potential here. And we open up our franchise with very minimal investment. So Eric is a huge proponent of Beachbody being, or network marketing being the better way. Our products and services are provided. The startup cost is very, very low. You can remain flexible. You can do it part-time. You can do it full-time. A lot of people have started this business and built it doing an hour a day, but spending that hour being extremely productive, not just active. And by productive, I mean inviting people to come and do this with them, asking people for a decision, asking them for a yes or no, not just having conversations, but saying, have you ever considered joining me in my challenge group? Or have you ever considered joining me in the coaching opportunity? Training is provided usually by your upline. Beachbody's trying to get a little better about that and put more stuff out, which is great. Sales is all customer service all through Beachbody, even though that has room for improvement too. Legal is taken care of. There's no inventory. You don't have any employees unless maybe you hire an assistant, which I do have one at this point. So if you're desirous for something more, and I feel like, okay, so I know I'm trying to like sell this to you guys, but the point of this presentation is to get you to truly believe in what you have at your fingertips. Because when you do, the sky is the limit. And what I feel a lot of people focus on in this business is they come in and they think that they need to learn the skills. But you can learn all the skills in the world, but if you don't have the belief to back it up, I guarantee you will not attract the right people to you to go the distance with you in this business. So you have to believe that this is the solution. This is the better way. This is what's going to ultimately help you to reach your XYZ goal. And if you believe that, then you can instill that belief into others. So that's why I'm kind of sharing these things with you, to show you what you have at your fingertips. You have an endless opportunity to impact people's lives, the lives of your family, the lives of your friends, all those people around you. You get more accountability, reach your goals. You're going to have complete freedom and flexibility of finances and time in your life if you create what you want to create with this. And you can have purpose. And everybody on this planet wants to have purpose. We don't just want to work to make money. We want to work to build something and leave an impact when we're gone, because we just never know when this life is going to be over for us. We have no idea when it's going to come to an end. So we want to feel like what we're doing here is creating an impact in the lives of others in our families and has a purpose. And we're not just here like wasting time. Okay, so a little bit about network marketing, some statistics, and they share these at the GoPro event. A lot of people say that network marketing isn't a real business, but direct selling in 2014 did $182 billion in sales and had 99.724 million people involved in their sales force. And this is 2014, so I'm sure these statistics have changed, but that's a lot of people doing network marketing. And there's still a lot of people out there, 99.7 million. I think there's like 7 billion people in the world. So the point is that this is a real business and there isn't real opportunity. This is actually part of the Beachbody presentation, and I threw it in there because before Team Beachbody, there really wasn't that much available. But now look at just how innovative we are. Our company just keeps adding things, and now we're going international. We're opening up a brand new market, 65 million people in the UK, 65 million more people whose lives we can change by presenting the opportunity to them to say yes to changing their life. We were a $1 billion company in 2014. And I put this in here just to show you guys like how things can change. And maybe I shouldn't have, but I wanted to show you that my first paycheck as a brand new coach was $30. And I guess I must have sold one Shakeology. And I always liked seeing these from other coaches in the wall and things like that. And I had a progression, but just this is actually an old presentation, and I had like a progression from emerald, diamond, star diamond, blah, blah, blah. And I just took everything out and just left this one in there, the 5-star diamond. So this was like a couple of years ago. But as you'll see, when you go from retail commissions was $30, but as you start to build your team, you start to build your income in the form of team cycle bonuses. And the only way that you can do that is, number one, believing in what you're doing and passing that belief on to others. And then number two, inviting people to come and do this with you. That's the only way that you're going to be able to get there. So of course, Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success. It's based on each individual's income, diligence, skills, and all that. And it took hard work to get there, but it can happen. So there are some keys to success. And this is another thing that Eric Worre talks about, is 3 things. Developing your $1 million mindset. That's number one. You have to have the mindset, because if you're sitting here going, I don't really think I can be good at this. Yeah, it's good for them and it's just not going to work for me. Or I'm really frustrated because these people are buying challenge packs from me and they're not committing to my groups. Or every time I recruit a coach, they don't do anything. That negative energy that you're putting out there is not going to help you attract the people to your business that are going to go the distance with you. So if your mindset is negative and you're putting out energy of frustration, anger, depression, upset, or whatever it is, any type of negative energy, then that is what you're going to attract back to you. You cannot attract positive people that are going to go the distance with you in this business, whether it's with a challenge group or coaching or whatever, if you're in a negative mindset. So it all starts with that. And from there, this kind of goes with Starts With Why by Simon Sinek, which I've been listening to as I run in the morning for my personal development. And so you have to start with your why. So that's developing your mindset. And when you stay connected to your why, and your why is deeper than just, I want to make money. And mine is, breathing life into people and the planet so they can live a limitless life by their design. That's my why. Breathing life into people so they can live a limitless life by their design, because I already created that for myself. So now it's helping other people create that for themselves. And the more you stay connected to that deep, meaningful, powerful why, the more likely it's going to be that you're going to stick around through the hardship. And if you just have a why that's, I'm going to help people, I want to be able to buy a boat, I want to be able to go on vacation more. But why? Why do you want to buy that boat? Is it because of the memories that you're going to create with your family on that boat? Why do you want to go on vacation? Is it because it's the only time that you get to bond with your family and have those amazing experiences? Go deeper into that meaning. And I always tell people, if you have a charity that you'd like to, when we start talking about coaching, like, what charity would you like to give to if you had additional money coming in that, you could, maybe it's fostering animals or giving to an orphanage in Africa. I know that Danny Johnson does that. So think about things like that go deeper than just, I want to get Success Club points or whatever that is, and connect with that why. And that's going to help you develop that mindset. Number 2, you have to develop the skills, and that's what you do by, training. But always, like I said, it has to be number 2, because if you don't have the belief, no matter how good your skills are, you will not create momentum. And then you have to create a strategy, and that's the what. So it's why first, how second, what third. And the what really is just consistency. It's just not giving up when it gets hard, and it's consistency in your inviting, and it's consistency in engaging in your business every day. Okay, so first you have to shift your mindset from someone who is coin operated, which Eric talks about this, and that's how we've all been raised up. We've all been raised up to, he says, put a coin in us and we do a little dance. So we're wired since we're 2 years old to be working for someone. Most of us, the majority of the population, to go to school, get a job, work hard, retire on half of our income, and that's how we live our lives. That's how we've been raised up. So we have to go against that natural feeling and mindset that we have, and we have to develop an entrepreneurial spirit. So we have to be willing to invest time, money, energy, passion, all of that without seeing an immediate return from our investment. Understanding that if we put in the time now, we can live an amazingly blessed life. But we have to do the hard work, and we have to put in the time, and we have to be consistent in that, or it won't come to fruition. And this goes along with the law of the harvest. And I'm sure you guys have heard the law of the harvest. And this is all about mindset. You have to understand that when you're inviting people to come and do this with you, so many people are going to say no, but they're watching what you're doing, and you're planting those seeds, and you water those plants with your Facebook posts and gaining credibility by continuing to do this, even when they say no, when they quit. I have a girl in my challenge group right now who, she posted something in my challenge group the other day, because I asked, like, what about me inspired you to join with me as your coach? Because they could have any coach, but they joined with me. And she said, she had actually been in a group of mine 3 years ago, and she never really did anything with it. She got good results, but then, she fell off and she stopped responding to me or whatever. And what brought her back around and joined with me again was She saw how I stayed consistent, and I still did it, even though she quit, and she realized time is going to pass no matter whether I'm doing something or not. And it's because I showed up and stayed consistent. When she was ready, she reached back out and said, like, I want to get started with this again. So it's just seeds that you're planting, and you're watering and you're watering, and you're giving them love, and you're pouring out that inspiration and, you know, leading by example. And the harvesting the corn, it takes 75 to 90 days for the corn to mature. And it can sometimes take 5 years for the corn to mature. I have another coach, a person who became a coach recently, who is one of my recent success starters, who 5 years ago was assigned to me as one of my free leads, one of my very first free leads. And I hopped on the phone with her. She never ended up buying anything from me. She would be in my groups and never do anything. And finally, I mean, she'd reach out to me like every 6 months, like, I'm ready to start. And then she'd disappear and stop answering me after I'd give her all the information. Finally, she had a health scare, and she's rocking it out, and she's doing an amazing job, and she's gotten great results, and she's become a coach, and she's already helped 4 new people. So you just never know when people are going to be ready, but you have to be in the mindset that it's not your job to force people to say yes. It's your job to go out there and offer people, as many people as possible, the opportunity to say yes without having any attachment to the response. And that is the most difficult thing that you will have to do in this business, because not being attached to the response is extremely difficult when you feel so like scarcity, like, oh, I have to get this person because they're my only person that I'm talking to. The way you can get rid of that scarcity mentality is just talk to more people and never be attached to that response. And that's what I learned early on. And that's what led me to building a big organization and a big, solid, strong, stable business. So once we have the mindset ourselves, then we have to pass that mindset down to our team. And again, you can't do that if you don't have the mindset yourself. So you have to engage in personal development, find that mindset, and then share that vision with your team often. And these are just some things that you can do with your team, like educate, set expectations early on, don't overstate the product, let people know that this is hard. I know in the beginning, I used to be like, you can just share with people. And I didn't really know, that I should tell them this is going to take hard work and you're going to have to put in time. And it's like I would trick people to get in, and then they'd find out what was going on and they wouldn't want to be a part of it. So be upfront with people. Let them know that it's going to be a lot of hard work. You're not trying to convince people to join your team or to join your challenge groups. You're trying to find people that already want to join and that are ready to join and stay committed and say yes, because that's going to make your job fun, easy, and it's going to lead to you developing, relationships with these people that are really positive, that are going to influence their life and impact their life in a positive way. And it's just going to end up growing into a more successful business if you have people that are already committed, not people that you're trying to convince. So after you've mastered the why and the belief and all that stuff and pass that on to your team, you have to master the how. And that's the basic skills. And Eric talks about these 7 basic skills in every single presentation that he does, because I actually listen to the women's event as well. And it's always finding prospects, inviting prospects, presenting, following up, closing, getting new distributors started, and promoting events. Those are the 7 basic skills. You don't have to master them all. As long as you can get really good at some, you can have an incredibly big and successful business. And all those things are things that you can find. If you have any questions about any of those things, you could literally go on YouTube and find videos on, I'm sure, every single one of those things from coaches on tons of different teams and get tons of information if that's what you want to do, if that's what you're driven by. Or you can just plug into the training that your team has developed. And then once we have the why, the how, then the what. We have to keep doing it over and over and over and showing up even when it's tough and even when we don't feel like it and even when we don't see it going anywhere, until eventually it just does go somewhere because we didn't quit. The average doctor or lawyer spends, typo there, approximately 18,000 hours of practice before they officially start their career. Eric says, try doing 18. The average athlete spends over 10,000 hours of practice before they become elite. When you're in front of a prospect, you are in game time, not practice time. Take it away from game time and practice with your team first. So he talks a lot about doing like mock things, and also I think 3-way calls in there, mentions doing 3-way calls and things like that. That's pretty much that. And I think that's it. That's my whole presentation. Hopefully I didn't talk too fast. I know it was kind of a little more than just mindset, but I feel like it all kind of relates.
That was awesome. Thank you. That was so good.
Does anybody have questions?
Oh. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Just make sure. Yeah, what a perfect thing to talk about on the week that we go international, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like if you thought you were struggling now, or if you felt like you're kind of stuck in the business, the doors just opened wide for you to just go get hungry with some new prospects. Anybody have any questions or any insight to any of that? Don't be shy. Nothing? Who's been on the struggle bus with their mind lately? Anybody? Yeah? What are y'all struggling with? We got some shy folks on tonight.
I know for me,
muted myself.
struggling a lot with being just consistent in my power hour. I haven't been consistent very much at all. So I kind of need to get back into that.
Consistency with the power hour. Yeah, maybe cutting it down so that it's more manageable to fit it in than just an hour. That might help. I don't know.
Okay.
Marissa, how did you fit a power hour in working full time? I mean, did you just buckle down and do it, or?
It really wasn't a power hour. It was like 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. I actually was like, as a CRNA, as a nurse anesthetist, there's sometimes like downtime between, like, say I have a case that got canceled and I'm like just sitting around for 2 hours waiting for my next case to start because they sometimes can't move things around. Then I would just be like working on my phone at work or on my lunch breaks, after work, on the weekends, you know. I was like obsessed with the business for a while because I really wanted out of CRNA. So like I would, anywhere I could, I'd be doing my check-ins and probably wasting a lot of time in activity and not productive behaviors, but I didn't really know at the time. So
I think that's part of my problem is that I was really, and I would be doing like a power 3 hour and I'd be spending 3 hours every night. Ended up moving, couldn't get internet where I moved to. So like all my activities stopped and I'm having a hard time getting back into it because I'm like, I don't want to spend 3 hours every night because I do work a full-time job. So that's kind of where I'm at.
I think something that I've noticed from like being in the Carl's like I'm Here to Help group is you kind of have to eat that frog. You have to invite people every day. Yeah. Even if you can't get in your power hour and you can't do every single thing that you want to do, like you have to be making new connections and inviting people to join you every day. Okay. Because if you're not doing that, your business is just dead. It's just dead.
Yeah, it's those vitals that are so important.
Thanks.
Yeah. And I think that if you're struggling with consistency with the power hour, maybe engage in some personal development that's inspiring to you, that kind of plugs you back into being inspired again, because it is easy to get burned out. And then when you get burned out, we want to like, we just don't want to do anything. So getting plugged back into personal development really helps me at those times when I'm feeling that way.
I'm in the middle of this right now. It's pretty good. I don't know if you can see with the lighting.
Yeah.
Probably not.
I can see it.
That book.
Yeah.
I like listening to audios now because I can like do other things instead of reading.
I do that a lot with like the YouTube videos or links like this. I'll listen to that and like wash the dishes at the same time.
It's good because then it doesn't take time, like more time away from your day when you already don't have time.
I'm reading the chats. People are talking about power blocks and power half hours.
Do you guys set an actual time, like from this time to this time, or just after dinner and I feed the kids and they get into bed, then that's when?
I don't have kids.
I don't either. So
I should have said that because I know some people are going to be like, well, now I can't relate to you at all. But I do have a dog and 2 birds. They're my kids. But I don't have I'm not organized like that. And me having to stick into like this particular type of, it doesn't work for my personality. I feel like I'm I'm not living in a free life, in a free way. So for me, it's, you know, whenever I can get it done.
Okay.
I'm the complete opposite.
Yeah, I know that about you. I know that about you. Yeah.
I'm super scheduled and super organized and have to work from pocket to pocket because of, you know, having a baby at home and kids at home and all that.
Can
So
it just be like a personality fit kind of thing?
Yeah.
It's like emerald versus like ruby. I'm like ruby, pearl, very little emerald.
Yep.
You're like emerald through and through.
Yeah.
Which is amazing because emeralds do really well in the business because they're so damn organized.
Yeah. But we, like, our personality styles probably feed off each other really well too, because you breathe more free into my life and I breathe more organization and structure into yours.
Oh yeah. We could definitely be a good power pair because we could.
Yeah.
We're strong where each other is weak, and that's what they always say. Fill your gaps in with people who are strong where you're weak.
Yep. Who else is struggling with something? I know power hour is probably a big one, but consistency tends to be a big one too. That you know, you might have your mind right, but if you're not going out and doing the do's, then
I'm sorry if I chime in. I feel like I'm talking over people. I can't see anybody on the screen. For me, I think I'm in like a good place right now where I have a set schedule. I have my vitals down. Like I know what I need to be doing every day. My struggle has now become sort of practicing what I preach. I'm doing all of these like positive and motivational posts all the time and talking about people, you know, being confident and like saying things like comparison is the thief of all joy. And then all of a sudden I will find myself falling into those same traps. So that's, I think for me, been the thing the last couple of weeks in particular. It's just been trying not to play that comparison game, trying not to play that, you know, like that self-doubt thing. And I have tons of great books and I'm reading all the time and listening to all the NWCs and all that, but it's still there. You know, I feel like does that ever go away?
It doesn't.
What, like, is Bonnie Engel sitting at home like, oh, I'm, you know, struggling with her self-worth? Probably, you know.
I'm gonna guess that's a lot of people, and I'm not saying anyone in particular, but I'm gonna relate it to myself because like I hit the 2-time elite, whatever, you know, and I was going after the big things, the shiny things, and being an elite team and things like that. And a lot of times people that are going for those big, huge things are actually really insecure and really in the comparison game, even more so, because the only way that they can actually feel good about themselves is to be externally validated by something that makes them feel worthy. So they go for like the top 10 because, and no judgment, I'm not like, you know, judging anybody. I'm speaking from my experience. I went for elite because I felt if I hit elite, that means I'm good. That means I'm worthy. That means I'm successful. I'm a good coach because I needed that external validation so bad because I didn't have self-esteem. So I was getting it from something outside of myself. So what I feel is if you recognize it, that's the first step, that you have that comparison game, and we all have low self-esteem. We're human. There's not one person on this planet that doesn't struggle with low self-esteem. It's a human nature thing. We have it inside of us. But when we become aware of it and we see that story operating, then we have the ability to shift it. Personally, I worked with someone closely, a conscious, kind of non-traditional therapy that helped me really work on that and get to the point where like I'm in Carl's group and like there's Tulane Emery's hitting like Success Club 150 this month, and there's amazing for her, no judgment, so proud of her, and I'm like rooting her on and we're like going back and forth, but like I don't want to do that. That's not what I want to do in my business. Like I don't want to hit Success Club 150. That would make me feel like I don't have the energy and time to be taking care of all of those people. Yeah, it isn't something for me. But each person is different in how they approach their business. So I'm at the point now where I can read that and I can be like, go girl, but I'm not feeling bad that I'm hitting, you know, Success Club 20 or whatever it is, you know, because we're both changing lives in whatever way we are showing up. And I think if you can be confident in where you are in your position, that is what when you feel it from the inside and not from anything that's externally validating you, when you actually feel like confident in yourself, then you can see all those things and you cannot let them get you down, I guess. They're never going to go away. You're always going to have that feeling, but you're going to be able to shift it, is what I'm saying, in that moment.
Cool. Thank you.
And just having different definitions of success, I think, in this business. Like, so many things can be considered successful in this business. You know, income, rank, different stats, how many, you know, volume, how many people you're helping, how big your team is. Like, so many different things can mean success, but it's knowing what it is for you. And like Marissa was talking about, just staying true to that why, and like what's keeping you going, and, you know, staying focused on that, which, you know, I mean, but,
and I mean, that's what I do. I try to focus on that so much. And that's why, like, I always save comments and text messages that I get from people, like all those amazing things that they have to say about their results that they're getting from the program. I save all of that stuff, because that's the kind of thing that I look back at when I'm having one of those moments when I'm like, you know, I'll never hit Success Club 150. Should I try? No, because you're right. I could never handle that many people. You know, it's just, that's not a goal for me either. But I can always look back at those notes and say, like, this person did awesome, so I'm on the right track.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I know, Jackie.
So don't feel like you're like being a fraud because you're posting those things and you're not walking the walk, because
that's totally what it is. Thank you for saying that. I do sometimes, and then I'm like, no, I'm not, though, because I'm not.
We share what speaks to us in a moment. We're sharing that with people because it's speaking to us. So that is speaking to our soul on a higher conscious level. So when you're speaking it out, it's because it's speaking to you and you're sharing it with other people so they can relate to you through that, even though you're still struggling with it. Mm-hmm. Because you need to read your posts. You need what you're posting just as much as those other people. Mm-hmm. And that's why
definitely.
That's why you're posting it, not because you're trying to say, look at me, I'm all perfect and you have all this work to do. You're like, look at me, I really connect with this because here's where I'm at, and I bet you can too. And that's going to help you connect with your audience if you don't feel like you're doing it as a fraud type of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Jackie wanted to say something.
Yeah. I struggle with trying to find a team of other coaches who are passionate like I am and want to build a team and are willing to work and, you know it's going to take longer than a month and then quit. I mean, I've been at it for 2.5 years now and I've done well with it, but I just can't find team members that want to, do it bad enough and want to make enough money and want to stick with it.
Well, something that Marissa said that stood out to me, because I always say, this isn't hard work, it's a lot of work, and it's easy stuff, but it takes work, it takes time to build. But maybe, you kind of said it is hard work, and maybe you're not getting it out there to them in that way. Like you're setting them up for failure, and that they don't know how much work they have to put in the beginning. I don't know how you're talking to them and introducing the business to them and whatnot, but I realize on my end, I'm like, oh, maybe I should be a little bit more real with these people, prospects, and that, it's a lot of hard work. I mean, I've been doing this for 5 years, so I have to really put myself back in the trenches and think, how much did I really work? And I asked my husband, and he's like, Sarah, you were on your phone all the freaking time. Like, I still am, but I was, and it was hard work. So maybe, I don't want to step on Marissa's toes, but that really stood out to me. So I think I should probably take her advice. But what do you think, Marissa, for that?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking, like, well, what are you saying to them when they enroll? And you teach someone how to be a coach from the moment that you have a conversation. So whether they come through like a free group or a challenge group, or, I have a girl in my challenge group right now, and she's like, wow, I see how much you really work. Like, you're putting a lot of effort into these challenge groups. Because I made her do a challenge group before she wanted to become a coach. But I'm like, go through the 30 days first, make sure it's for you before we start doing the training. And she's like, you do? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I work hard. I put a lot of effort into these. I also have an assistant that helps me with some things. But the reward for my effort now is so much greater than when I was doing full-time as a nurse anesthetist. I still worked hard then. I worked actually more hours, 40 hours a week. And now I'm doing like 20 or 30 with my Beachbody business. So I guess it's like you choose your hard. And as far as not finding the people and to attest to the, like, saying, I think the hardest part, and I tell people this when I talk to them about joining the business, I'm like, it's not hard work. It's not rocket science. The things that you have to do are, basic skills. The hard part is you're going to hear no a lot. And if you set that expectation for them, like a lot of people are going to tell you no. But you have to be resilient and you have to keep doing this, even though you're hearing no after no after no. And those people will eventually be a yes. But that's the hard work, is maintaining your confidence and, consistently still engaging when you're hearing no all the time. That's where the hard work is. And I tell them that. Ooh. Did I just screen share? Is that me?
I don't know. D. Clayton? I don't know who that is. I don't know what's going on.
I just hit the wrong button and I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm sorry.
All right. Here we go. Stop it. I got it.
There we go.
I was like, did I just hit screen share? But no, it was someone else. Okay. So yeah, that's the thing that I tell people. I tell people that the hardest part is that you're going to hear a lot of no's. And and I even tell them, I'm like, the majority of people don't make it in this business. And the reason is because they don't have that resilience. So what's going to happen is a lot of people are going to fall off. And I've had that experience, in my business. And I think setting the expectation for them up early on and letting them know that the only difference between someone who succeeds and fails is that they consistently do it longer. That's it. They make a decision to stay, and that's why I succeeded. Is like I made a decision. I was going to do this, and I was going to be successful. I was going to build it to a 6-figure income. No matter how many no's I heard, no matter how long it took, I was going to do this. And when I made that decision, I did whatever it took to get there. And so it's like and I share that with people when I talk to them about, the business, because I want them to know that it's difficult and they're going to have to make a decision.
That's a good point. Thank you. That helps a lot.
And then look at the process of how you're getting them to the point of being, becoming a coach on your team. Like, are you getting them into a free group and having them warm up to that challenge group experience, and then having them go through a 30-day group and giving them an amazing experience and really developing that relationship with them and showing them how much work they're going to have to put in before you actually have them start coaching.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't think I'm telling them enough about how many no's they're going to get, because I kind of broke past that, and it doesn't bother me, but it does bother some people, and it would probably if I was just beginning too. So it's a good point.
Yeah, Bob, that's like the hardest part.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Good analogy. It's kind of like I joked with my up and coming diamonds or star diamond coaches. They're like, I just need one more diamond to get to 2-star, or I just need one more diamond for this and that, and why can't they do it? That why da da da. And I try to relate it. Like, I'm not good at relating things with numbers, but when you're a new coach and you're pushing for like Emerald, for example, to help someone else reach Diamond, that's adding 2 new coaches. So if you're a Diamond coach, to do the equivalent of that, it would have to be you making yourself a Diamond again. Mm-hmm. Like, so as a new coach, you've heard no's I've heard no's for 5 years now, but as a new coach, for them to hear their first no is like for me to hear no, like 5 years times 5. So, you have to kind of relate to that. Like you were just saying, Jackie, like you've been hearing it for a while. You've gotten that tough skin. You've warmed up to it, whatever. They're not going to, when they hear their first no, they're going to go cry under a blanket and like say, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm joking, but, so it's making it an equivalent, like understanding where they're coming from, knowing that we've been doing this for a lot longer. So that's a really good perspective, Marissa. I like that. I like that you put it out there like that.
Yeah, because you're not trying to convince people to join your team. You're trying to, what does Danny call it? She calls it, you're sorting them. You're sorting people to see who's really serious.
True.
And when you start to do that, then I've convinced people not to join my team before. I've been like, I don't really think you're ready. Because if they really were ready, then they'd come back and they'd say, no, I really want to do this. And they would sign up. But if they're like, yeah, I think you're right, I don't really want to do this, I'm like, yeah, good riddance. Like, I don't have the time. Like, I'm like, I'd rather invest my time into someone who really wants to grow this. And I've had people that were like, they were going to enroll, but I didn't feel that they were ready. I didn't feel that they were going to put the time in. And I'm like, why am I going to invest all of this time into training this person who already has huge hesitations? Like, too many times I've done that, and it's just not worth it.
I like that. Because it's almost like you make them want it more when you do that.
Yep. Either they're like, yeah, you're right, I don't really want to do this, or they're like, no, I really do, I want to sign up. Like, let's go.
Yep. If you're on my team, it's like the Christine Dwyer, I don't need you call. And if you want that call, Marissa, I'll share it with you. But it's a really good call about if you lead with, I don't need you, they want you more and they want to be a part of what you're doing even more. It's such a cool philosophy. It's a really good call.
I've heard that call.
Oh, you have? Yeah.
Yeah. It's on a podcast. It's a really good call.
Yes. It was in one of her like boot camp trainings when I first got started, and it's kind of what moved me forward in my business, because I just had to stop caring what people were saying. Yeah, I will share that call with you. I think that's Hannah.
Yeah.
Or anyone else that wants it. Marissa knows where to find it too. So
I don't know if I know where to find it, but
I'll send it to
you. It
you.
was a podcast. I definitely listened to it. It was good.
Good. Well, this is good combo. I'm glad that you opened it up for questions. Are there any others? I don't want to miss any. I can't see everybody, so let me know if I'm missing somebody. I don't know if I thought someone else had their hand raised, but I might have missed them. I apologize. Well, if that's
I have some struggles. Basically,
okay.
being a mom, I'm struggling because I have the drive and the want to do more, but my schedule with my girls and my part-time job is so crazy all the time. I can't be consistent every day because I never know who's waking up at 4 a.m. or whatnot, and breaking up, screaming matches and fights all day long. I feel like I can't even focus on my business throughout pretty much the majority of the day, because I'll be into a thought and thinking and writing, and then I'm like, I have to turn my attention elsewhere to my kids, and then I'm just like totally drained by the end of the day. I'm just completely just sucked out dry. And I'm having a conflict with it, because I have this passion for this and I want to do better. I want to do more, but then I have this cult of being a mom and putting everything, I guess kind of on the back burner.
I think Sarah could answer that one.
I know. I come from tough love, and being a new mom, and I know how that is because my son's been waking up at 4:30 lately, and it's driving me crazy. But you just have to find time, and it becomes pockets of time. So I won't say that I'm getting less done, but I'm getting less done at a time. But I have to be very focused in that time. So I've really had to create a checklist almost, where I know, okay, if I have 15 minutes, this is what I have to do, and I have to prioritize. So if it's follow-up, then that's going to overtake, sending out new messages or responding to the messages that are already in my inbox. So I have to decide what's more important, the messages sitting in the inbox or my follow-up list that is now 500 deep and I need to get caught up on, or whatever. Is it getting my workout in so that I have content to post about, or is it, doing a team training, or, whatever. So I think it goes back to kind of what Marissa was saying, those 7 skills, or the why, the how, the what, and figuring out what is your what. Like, what has to get done for your business to move forward? Obviously the vitals, and in that includes the invitations, the getting your your workout in, the personal development. So finding those pockets of time to do that. And I do a lot of brainstorming in the evenings. I know I'm exhausted in the evenings, but it's the only time I have, besides nap times, that I can think clearly, because I have the same thing with the baby on my hip all day long and needing my attention. And I plan posts out. Just because you worked out today doesn't mean you have to talk about and post about that workout that day. Just because you read something in personal development today doesn't mean you have to post about it today. So save those snippets and those takeaways for content to use throughout your week. Because I think the biggest struggle that at least I have is content and forgetting to post or finding the time to post, because you want to add value, you want to think it out, and it's hard to think it out when you're feeding a baby in one hand and doing the laundry in the other and driving in the other. So doing laundry and driving at the same time. You know what I mean? So so
thinking about laundry while you're driving.
So having a strategy behind planning out content really is kind of my biggest struggle, and then follow up. So you got to pick what's important that's going to move your and where you're struggling the most. So if you're struggling with coming up with content, then I'd say on Sundays when you have help at home and your husband can take the kids, that's when you sit out. And I think Joanna is really good at this. She sits down on Sundays and plans out her whole week of content. I think, is that you?
Yeah, I do. But I'll add in the group later on when we're done. I have a bullet journal and I started it in January, and I'm telling you, it was like an absolute game changer, because I have a 6-year-old, a 2.5-year-old, and I have an in-home daycare part-time. So I have the kids on me all day. I know the drill. But that writing the list, prioritizing the list, I put it all in the night before, and then on Sunday, I'll take an hour when my husband is home and I plan my entire week of posts, but then I actually plan my whole month of posts. And there's flexible stuff in there too, but all my branding stuff, my vital stuff, it's all done ahead of time. And I think it's the big shift I've had in my business since January. So
yeah,
but the bullet journal stuff I'll share in the group later. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. It's finding what works for you. And for me, for example, it was I knew I could get my workout in when Jack napped. Jack's my 10-month-old. But that was quiet time. I'm why would I work out when I can work for 2 hours or an hour and a half or however long his nap was without any distractions? So I had to shift my workouts to when he was awake and be okay with workout interruptions so that I could have non-interruptions during my work hour. So little things like that where, I would take him on a walk and I could listen to personal development while I'm taking him on a walk. So I could combine things and multitask in certain areas, because you're right. You can't do focused thought time when the kids are jumping on you. But at the same time, balance that time. You also have to be mommy, and you don't want to get burnt out with trying to just fit stuff in or lose people through the cracks because you're on your phone and then you're not, and then your kids have your phone and they're responding JFKLT to somebody that you're in a conversation with. So I think just getting on a schedule, and like I said, I like schedules, I like routine, but being okay with working in pockets of time. And something I always say is being comfortable with the chaos of this business, because it's always on. You can shut your phone off and get off Facebook, but it is still going on, and you always are going to feel like you have something to do in this business. So it's just being comfortable with your chaos, but organizing it in some kind of way that works for you. So I can share my to-do lists with you. I don't know what your first name is. Clayton. D. Clayton. Diana?
Yeah.
Okay. I can share it with you if that would help. And I'm sure Joanna can share what she's doing too.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
That was awesome. Can't wait. You should talk about that on the organization on my team call.
Okay. I totally will. I'm not a pro at it, but I do enjoy it. I do try to stay pretty organized. Cool. Well, it's the hour, right on the hour. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you, Marissa, for being on. You're awesome, awesome, awesome. That was such good stuff. I'm sure we all have takeaways, and we'll be talking about them till the next time. So have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thanks for hopping on, and we will see you guys on Facebook.
Bye, guys.
Bye.